Welcome to the Most Valuable Lessons book discussion podcast. The book discussion topic for today is the Self-Reliance book by Ralph Waldo Emerson.
All right, ready to dive in today. We're tackling self-reliance, from Emerson.
Oh, interesting. A classic.
Totally. And get this, our source is this animated YouTube video. I thought, Emerson.
Yeah, but you keep it fresh, right? What's the video all about?
So it actually starts with this personal story. The YouTuber, he talks about like having a tough upbringing, almost like he was pushed from the nest a little early,
I can see that. Having to figure things out on your own.
Exactly. And I think we've all kind of felt that way at some point, right? Like, whoa, I'm in charge of this now.
Absolutely, that feeling of, okay, I'm on my own, now what? That's where self-reliance comes in. And this video, it really dives into this with this Latin phrase right at the start. Ne te quaesiveris extra. Do not seek outside yourself. Powerful stuff.
Okay, yeah, when I heard that line, I was like, whoa. Yeah. Because how often do we do that, right? We look everywhere but inward for answers. So does that mean, like, ditch all the self-help books and just trust our gut? Is that what Emerson's saying?
Well, not quite that simple. It's not about ignoring everything out there, all advice and information. But it is about realizing those answers we're looking for, they're often within us already. We got to cultivate that inner wisdom, trust our own judgment more.
It's like we have this internal compass, but we're so busy checking everyone else's map,
Exactly. We get caught up comparing directions instead of trusting our own path.
Which is so key. And that's where I think the video's 4 pillars of action really come in. It's like they give you a roadmap to actually build that self-reliance muscle.
Yeah, let's hear about these pillars.
Okay, so the first one is assume responsibility. And honestly, that one can feel a little heavy sometimes, right?
It's not always easy to step up, for sure.
Right. But the video gave this example of, like, Greg the intern. Greg messes up this big presentation. And instead of blaming it on tech issues or whatever, he owns up to it, takes responsibility.
I like that. Taking ownership, even when it's uncomfortable. That shows real integrity.
It's true. And it actually made me think of the flip side. When you see someone trying to avoid taking responsibility, it erodes trust so quickly.
Absolutely. Actions speak louder.
Totally. So we've talked about responsibility, but then how do we actually make sure we're making good decisions in the first place?
Ah, good question.
And that's where that second pillar comes in, be informed.
Hmm.
I love this one because the video kind of calls out those people who are like, oh yeah, I read tons of books. Like, just reading makes them an expert.
Right. Like, knowledge is just accumulating facts. It's more than that.
Exactly. It's
Right.
putting it into practice.
Right. It's in the doing, the applying, that you really start to understand and build that self-reliance. And that leads right into the third pillars. This one's know where you're going. So setting those SMART goals.
Right. SMART goals.
Which I'm sure, a lot of people are familiar with already. But I'm curious, have you ever thought about how that connects to self-reliance?
I hadn't really made that connection before watching this video. Like, I get that SMART goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. It helps you, like, actually reach your goals. But how does that tie into being more self-reliant?
Well, think about it. When you set those SMART goals, you're basically taking charge of your own, destiny. You're not waiting for things to happen to you. You're shaping your future.
Oh, okay.
And that feeling, that agency, believing you can create change, that's a huge part of self-reliance.
That's a really good point. And it actually makes me think of something else the video touched on about, like, aligning your goals with what you're actually passionate about.
Yes.
Like, they use the example of the YouTuber himself, how he's always loved drawing, telling stories, and that kind of became the foundation for his whole YouTube channel.
Absolutely.
And it's like when you're really into it, when you're passionate about what you're working towards, that self-reliance, it kind of comes naturally, doesn't it?
Totally. It's not forcing yourself to do something you hate because you think you should. It's about what lights you up. What do you connect with? And then setting goals that take you in that direction.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got taking responsibility, being informed, knowing where we're going. But, like, what about when things get tough? Because, life's not always smooth sailing.
Exactly. It's not always going to be easy. That's where that fourth pillar comes in. Make your own decisions. And that might be the most important one of all.
This one really got me because, full disclosure, I am like the queen of overthinking.
Oh, tell me about it.
So when the video said, you make a choice and then you make that choice right, it was like, whoa, but what does that even mean? To make a choice right?
Such a good question. And it actually goes back to what we were talking about earlier with being informed. The more you know, the more experience you have, the better equipped you are to make good choices. But it's not about, always making the perfect choice. It's about owning that decision.
So not knowing all the answers, but
Yeah.
trusting yourself to kind of figure it out.
Exactly. And that goes back to what the video said about embracing chaos, right?
Right.
Life's messy, unpredictable, stuff happens. But it's in those moments when we have to rely on ourselves that we grow the most.
You know, it's funny, right? Like, we're always told to avoid chaos,
Yeah.
strive for that perfectly planned life.
Right. Have it all figured out.
But this video, it's like, embrace the mess.
And that's where the good stuff happens, right?
Yeah, like that saying, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor, right?
I love that one.
You need a few waves to really figure out how to navigate.
It's true. And that's where that real self-reliance comes in. Being able to adapt, problem solve, find your footing when things feel chaotic.
It makes you think, do we avoid decisions because we're so scared of messing up?
Oh, 100%.
Like, we'd rather just stay stuck than risk making a wrong choice.
It's easier to stay in our comfort zone, even if it's not where we want to be.
This whole conversation, honestly, it's been eye-opening for me.
Oh, yeah.
I realize I've been giving away my power,
Yeah.
doubting myself, looking for validation from everyone else instead of trusting my own judgment.
It's so easy to fall into that trap, but when you start to tap into that self-reliance, it's powerful.
It is.
It reminds you, you've got this. You have what it takes to create the life you want.
It's like we have all this incredible potential inside,
We do.
but we just need that little nudge, that reminder to actually use it.
Exactly. And it's not about becoming some, perfect version of yourself. It's about
No.
becoming more fully you.
I love that.
Owning your strengths, learning from those, not-so strengths.
Yes.
And trusting that inner compass.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have a question for everyone listening.
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
What's one decision you've been putting off because of fear, uncertainty, whatever it is? What if, instead of overthinking it, you just made a choice
Just go for it.
and then committed to making that choice right?
What if this is your sign? To embrace that chaos.
Yes.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
And step into that potential.
I love that. Such a powerful thought to end on. Remember, you have the power to create the life you want. Trust yourself. Embrace the journey. And until next time, keep diving deep.
Thank you so much for watching. Please help to like and subscribe to our channel to get notifications for future videos from our channel.